Hello everybody! This week I wanted to talk about emotions. We are all emotional beings. It is natural for humans to feel a large range of emotions, and each are processed very differently. We all have different strategies for these emotions, yet I have noticed a commonality with one emotion specifically. Anger tends to get suppressed rather than expressed. This suppression builds up and affects the body and mind in different ways, often in negative ways that we don't talk about. Yeah, like any emotion, it deserves to be acknowledged and worked through to help avoid the dangers it can cause. The main points I want to cover today are the dangers of suppressed anger, anger's bad reputation, and healthy ways to express your anger. So, starting off, suppressing anger long term, like most emotions, can cause health issues internally. That doesn't mean it only affects us psychologically, it affects us physically in ways that are very harmful. In an article by Neural Launch, they talk about the dangers of suppressing your anger long term, quoting that the body pays the price that the face is hiding, heart rate climbs, blood pressure rises, cortisol stays elevated, all while the person appears perfectly calm. Decades of follow up research link chronic anger suppression to elevated cardiovascular mortality, making it emotional bottling not just physiologically costly, but measurably dangerous. End quote. And even though anger is taught to be bottled up, it's important that it is not suppressed, that it is allowed to exist. Over the years, I have made art as ways to cope with suppressed anger I personally deal with, and I have two examples here. One of the reasons I believe anger is taught to be suppressed is that it has a bad reputation, and what I mean by that is due to anger often being linked with physical violence, addiction, and complex trauma, it is labeled as a negative emotion. As someone who has a complex relationship with anger due to complex childhood traumas, this made me worry about my own health and contributions to anger's bad reputation. So, with therapy, I found ways to understand the importance of anger, why it exists, and how to let anger exist. It helps us set boundaries, understand our worth, and push past rough moments in life. It is meant to be our friend, so if we listen to anger, anger will listen to us, and it becomes less of a yelling match and more of a conversation. And learning to communicate with anger can look a lot of different ways. I will add more examples of my personal art that has allowed me to communicate with my personal anger better over the years. And communication doesn't always look like, what I'm talking about. It looks like a lot of different things. It can look rather chaotic at times. My next subject covers the different ways in which anger can be looked at. Through the years of research to manage anger, it's not just about conversations, it's about that physical release to let the emotion exist and evaporate. Mental Health America, they speak on the challenges of anger and what can be done to help. The main statement being, quote, "The circumstances causing this rage might be beyond your control, but you can control your own reactions," end quote. So even doing something temporary and non-consequential is a place to start. Journaling and art are main choices people use a lot of times. However, it can get, different than that. Some people need action for that. Breaking, throwing away objects, screaming in private, using cold stimulation, or even throwing ice, using actions directed at objects, open air, can cause the anger to release without it being released at somebody else. Many states, including Vermont, offer rage rooms as a way to express anger, break objects, and stay safe. One of the things that I have done for a long time is paint on myself in a chaotic manner, often with red and black. I will insert an image here of the last time I had done that. It isn't easy and it doesn't happen overnight, yet there are many ways to unlearn these negative perception that anger has. Because overall, anger is a complex emotion that deserves to exist like other complex emotions, regardless of the reputation it has built up. A new perspective is how we create a silver lining even for the hard emotions and moments in life. Even if it feels silly, if it works, pursue it as a way to bring in healthy actions to your life. The more we let out and the less we keep in, the better our health will be and the more our body and mind will thank us over time. And thank you for your time.